Why do some people build wealth as if it's effortless, while others grind for decades and remain stuck? Why is it that two people can start from the same place with the same tools, and yet one rises to abundance while the other remains in survival mode? It's not luck. It's not intelligence. It's alignment with laws that few understand and even fewer obey. King Solomon was the richest man of his time and the wisest, but his success wasn't magic. It was built on 12 timeless financial laws hidden in plain sight, laws that still govern wealth today, and laws that no school will teach you. Let's unlock them. Law 1: wealth begins with obedience to principles. Solomon's entire kingdom was built on one invisible truth: prosperity follows order. He aligned his actions with principles, not emotions. While most people react to money based on mood, Solomon moved by law. In modern terms, this means predictable behavior. Automate your savings. Invest without emotion. Track your money like a builder tracks his materials. Emotion builds chaos. Obedience builds kingdoms. When your financial life is ruled by principle, not impulse, you stop chasing wealth and start attracting it. Ask yourself, are you acting on feelings or formulas? Law 2: seek wisdom over riches. When God offered Solomon anything, riches, fame, power, he asked for wisdom. He knew what many never learn. Wisdom is the root. Wealth is just the fruit. This law is violent to modern thinking. Most people chase money. They chase shortcuts, hacks, and miracles. But Solomon chased understanding and gained both wisdom and wealth. Today, this means study financial books. Learn from those who've built real wealth. Think long, not fast. Because without wisdom, money becomes a curse. It inflates ego, funds bad habits, and evaporates under pressure. Wisdom doesn't just tell you what to do, it teaches you why and when. If you had to choose between $1 million and the mindset to create $1 million, what would you pick? Solomon's answer was clear, and that's why his riches endured. Law 3: diversify like a king. Solomon wrote, divide your portion among 7, yes, even 8, for you do not know what disaster may come. He was talking about diversification centuries before Wall Street even existed. His empire wasn't built on one industry. It thrived through trade, agriculture, alliances, and gold. He knew that no matter how strong one stream was, storms would come. Today, this means don't depend on a single job. Build multiple streams: business, real estate, dividends, royalties. Even diversify your investments across markets and strategies. This isn't fear, it's wisdom in action. The poor depend on one source. The wealthy build safety in layers. What happens if your only source of income dries up tomorrow? Solomon would say, you should have built 7. Law 4: the righteous save for their children's children. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. This is generational thinking. Solomon wasn't just rich, he was a legacy builder. He knew that true wealth isn't measured in dollars today, but in what those dollars produce tomorrow. The poor think in paychecks. The wealthy think in bloodlines. They create systems, family trusts, education funds, businesses that outlive them. Financial education passed through generations. But most importantly, they transfer values: discipline, humility, stewardship. Because giving your children money without wisdom is like handing them a sword with no training. Are you just earning for today, or building a blueprint that outlasts you? Law 5: avoid foolish debt. Solomon warned, the borrower is servant to the lender. And in today's world, that warning is ignored more than ever. Let's be clear, debt isn't evil, but foolish debt is financial poison. Using credit to buy liabilities, things that lose value, keeps you locked in modern slavery. It's a silent trap, easy to enter, brutal to escape. The rich use debt strategically. They borrow to buy income, rental properties, business growth, assets that produce cash flow. And they do it with clear plans, not emotional swipes. Debt should work for you, not chain you. If your money is leaving you faster than it's returning, you're not building wealth. You're funding someone else's. Law 6: diligence leads to abundance. The hand of the diligent makes rich. Solomon didn't glorify genius. He honored grit. The wealthiest people aren't the smartest. They're the most consistent. They master boring habits, daily budgeting, weekly reviews, monthly investing, yearly vision planning. Wealth isn't built in one decision. It's built in 10,000 quiet ones. Diligence multiplies effort, turns ordinary into unstoppable. If you want Solomon-level abundance, don't seek excitement. Seek discipline, because those who show up daily eventually stand above those who only show up when they feel like it. Law 7. Fools spend all they get. A foolish man devours all he has. This is one of Solomon's most brutal observations, and one of the most ignored in our generation. Lifestyle inflation, impulsive spending, I deserve it syndrome. These are chains dressed as freedom. Solomon teaches that even a small income can grow if it's not consumed by your cravings. The poor spend, then save what's left. The wealthy save first, then spend what remains. And it's not about being frugal. It's about being wise. A disciplined spender creates margin. Margin creates options. Options create freedom. Want to escape financial stress? Start by keeping more than you consume. Law 8. Generosity creates multiplication. He who gives generously will be blessed. Again and again, Solomon links giving with increase. This law defies logic because it's based on abundance, not scarcity. The poor mindset says, if I give, I'll have less. The wealth mindset says, giving makes room for more. But this isn't just about charity. It's about circulation. Money is like blood, it must flow to stay alive. Generosity multiplies your impact, your reputation, your network, your internal peace. When you give time, knowledge, money, you become a source. And sources never run dry. Solomon knew the open hand always receives more than the clenched fist. Law 9. Guard against greed and envy. Whoever loves money never has enough. Greed is a hungry ghost. No matter how much you feed it, it always wants more. Salomeo via res perdurum tudo por obsesso. He understood money is a servant, not a god. Greed blinds. It makes you take unwise risks. Envy corrupts. It distracts you from your own path. The ultra-wealthy? They don't chase status. They chase strategy. They know peace is part of the portfolio. This law teaches emotional detachment. Love purpose, not possessions. Use money, don't worship it. Solomon's wealth didn't own him. It obeyed him. That's the difference. Law 10. Surround yourself with counsel. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Even Solomon, the wisest man, didn't build alone. So why do you try to? This law exposes a silent poverty trap, isolation. Financial independence doesn't mean doing it by yourself. It means surrounding yourself with those who've walked the path ahead. Today that means mentorship, coaching, masterminds, financial advisors, even curated friendships. If your inner circle is broke, bitter, or blind, so will your future be? You don't just need information. You need counsel, people who challenge your decisions, sharpen your thinking, and protect your blind spots. Solomon's empire wasn't solo. Neither is yours. Law 11. Time is a multiplying force. Solomon spoke endlessly about seasons, planting, and harvests. Why? Because he knew that time is the most powerful investor of all. Compound interest isn't just about money. It's about effort, discipline, wisdom, relationships. One good decision, repeated for 10 years, will outperform 1,000 brilliant ideas never acted on. Most people fail not because they're stupid, but because they're impatient. The seed doesn't become a tree in a week, but if you water it daily, it eventually becomes a forest. Wealth builders understand this. They move slowly, intentionally, long-term, because they know everything multiplies with time, especially obedience. Law 12. True riches include peace. Solomon wasn't just wealthy. He was at peace. His fortune wasn't forged in anxiety. It was built through wisdom, structure, and divine alignment. Wealth without peace is just another prison. Millions in the bank mean nothing if you can't sleep at night. So what does real wealth include? Time to rest, freedom to choose, relationships that matter, a clear conscience, a future you don't fear. Solomon's final law is this: redefine your riches, because the goal isn't just to get richer, it's to stay richer. In your soul, in your family, in your legacy. These 12 laws weren't written by financial gurus or modern influencers. They were carved into the blueprint of Solomon's reign. A reign marked by peace, power, and generational abundance. But here's the question. Which of these laws are you ignoring? Because wisdom is useless if it stays on the shelf. And wealth doesn't arrive with wishes, it arrives with action. Pick one law. Apply it today. Build it into your week, your plan, your identity. And when you do, watch how everything begins to shift slowly, quietly, and then all at once. Because these laws, they're not just rules, they're keys. And now they're in your hands. Subscribe for more timeless lessons. And remember, what you build with wisdom can never be stolen.